Good morning on this 25th day of May, the end of May, and quickly moving into June. We're continuing our online services and these conversations that I have with you. It's kind of one-sided. I do all the talking, but nevertheless, you're kind enough to tune in and listen. I know at least my wife watches it because she helps me in many ways. Anyway, here we are. COVID-19 has impacted us in so many ways, and we've talked about it probably ad infinitum or ad nauseum, I guess. But it's all we ever hear anymore. I have had lots of opportunities to think about what this means, and we had some friends of ours who have the only time they've been out of their house is to drive to the store. They live in another community, not Galveston. They drive from their house to the store. They pop their trunk from inside their car. The person from the grocery store comes out, puts the groceries in the car, closes the trunk, and then they drive home again. And that's it for like 60 some odd days. Many of you can identify with that. Laura and I we haven't been out much. I come to the church, but I'm pretty isolated here. We don't have anything going on, and our staff we come in at odd times on purpose because certainly we're not trying to contaminate each other, and we stay way back away from each other. So I have the opportunity to see some different people and even have some conversation, but I still spend most of my time between the church and home, and that's it. And so these friends of ours from Jasper, they came to be with us. It was their first outing. Okay, so they know that we've been very diligent about quarantining, and we know they have too. So it's a relatively safe encounter. And so last night they were here, and they came in, and this is the first house they've been in beside their own since this thing began. And we sat on the back porch, and we just had the best time. We've had several Zoom conversations with them, but it's just not the same as seeing somebody there and being there and not having to make sure that your nose is not too close to the Zoom camera so that somebody's getting a close-up of the inside of your nose or something to that effect, or you just be yourself. And as we were talking, Tom said, what we've discovered is a new rhythm to our life. They've been retired for several years, and they'd kind of gotten into ruts of what they were doing. And a lot of times those were in different directions. And so what has happened now is that they're together a lot. And they discovered they're still fond of one another. Isn't that great? This is what he was saying was that we have learned to be kinder to one another. You would think after 40 some odd years of marriage, you'd already learn how to be kind to one another, but actually that's something we continue to learn, and sometimes we take for granted in our spouse. But kindness is never a bad thing to express, and so they've learned to be kinder. They've learned to do some different things together. They cook together. They both have realized they like to watch birds, do bird watching. They have time outside with their audio books. They've learned all of these sort of new things and have come to appreciate the simpler things. And that's been a theme that I've talked about over and over again in these Monday talks, is appreciation. Last night was a joy when we got together. It was so exciting and anticipating their coming, and then they come and we celebrate and we're like kids on Christmas morning. You remember that excitement when you finally got to open those presents? That's what it was like last night. And so this morning when Laura and I were up and drinking our coffee as the sun was rising, we were talking about that. And there was an extra quality to that gathering last night. And we talked about that as well. And I said, I think, we're learning to appreciate things that we overlooked before. And I think we can come out of the pandemic with a greater appreciation for the stuff that matters, which is relationships. It isn't how much money you got in the bank. That's nice, but it's not worth all of your effort and energy. It is important how you interact with people in the living of your life and the kindness that you're able to show. And I told her, I said, I was thinking about that, and we were, as we were talking about it, I said, it reminds me of the phrase from the old hymn, "A foretaste of glory divine." Remember that? It's sort of, if we can enjoy each other and appreciate each other and have a deep joy on this side of the River Jordan, so to speak, imagine what it would be like on the other side. We can only imagine. We can only imagine the joy that will possess us when we take that last breath and when we go to sleep and we wake up in the arms of our Lord Jesus Christ. What joy shall fill our hearts, a foretaste of glory divine. I hope that you are developing healthy, good habits, that you are taking time to appreciate the people around you, the opportunities made available to you. Somebody said, what are we going to do this summer? Linda Snow, our associate pastor, and I were talking. And she said that one of the things she read was that someone suggested that you have quarantines. These are people that have done all the proper things. It's not folk that go and go to bars and mix with people they don't know and don't wear masks and all this. These are people who've taken the proper precautions, and maybe as you have, and you've given each other then permission to come to each other's home and be with each other. It's called quarantines. What a great idea. Maybe that can happen. One person is having a dinner party tonight at their home. Now, this dinner party is a little different. They all ordered from the same restaurant, but they're all going to be eating at their own table, and they've got the iPads in front of them to do the Zoom party. So they'll eat together and they'll visit and chat, and it will be kind of a creative way to be together. But maybe this summer, decide to have a pool party, or you decide to have a dinner party for real, and you've got some people have been very diligent about being careful, and so you get together and you enjoy one another in ways maybe you haven't in the past or you took for granted in the past. There's a lot of creative things that we can do to appreciate the gifts that we have been blessed with. And then finally, I would hope that through all of this, we would find ways to help those who are struggling, maybe struggling to pay their bills or to get food. We folk who are followers of our Lord Jesus Christ, we ought to be known for our generosity, our abundant generosity. So I hope you find ways not only to give to worthy causes that are making a difference, but also maybe to offer your gift in whatever way, safe way that may be, that you can offer back to help alleviate someone else's pain. After all, that's what really matters. So enjoy one another, have opportunities to be together, and know that it is indeed a foretaste of glory divine. God bless. See you next week.